you can always like start randomly, right?
Hmm.
And then you can
Yeah.
put
So,
part later.
hmm. So how has this been? How has this week been for you? कैसा रहा है, like last week or something?
This week was actually good because, day before yesterday was my birthday, and
Okay.
I have reached a serious age and doesn't look good.
Hmm.
So
What
by
age is that? Do you want to leak?
age, let's not reveal the age. I'm still like
We don't talk about ages here.
19 at heart.
Uh-huh.
So just
Yeah,
building on that.
I have started feeling like 2021 is just extended teenage, right?
Fair. It's the
Hmm.
same thing, 19 to 23, 25. 25 is like,
Hmm.
when you hit your
25
thinking,
is like old. 25 is old.
it's
Like,
like marriage.
it's like
Raises,
marriage.
eyebrows, whatever.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
बाकी तो
So,
मतलब बढ़िया yesterday
mhm,
like we had this like crazy conversation तो good
mhm,
context तो उसके बाद
good content. Yeah. So nice. My week has also been, a lot of content building, content creation. I'm thinking of
hmm.
pursuing content creation thoda seriously in 2026. So yeah, giving it a shot here with you as well. So yeah, what's something that's been on your mind lately? What, like, something deep you're thinking about?
I think I've been thinking a lot about people, you know, life in general, then a little bit of
Mm-hmm,
discipline. So
mm-hmm,
I consider myself lacking discipline at this point. Right? We are
okay,
nothing without discipline. So
mm-hmm,
I think once you have I made a video about this as well. YouTube,
mm-hmm,
you've seen that, right? It's like,
mm-hmm,
what I call the people's game. Once you have your people's game figured out, when you know that you are valued and trusted by certain people and you have
mm-hmm,
trust and value in other people as well, then
mm-hmm,
all things like become relatively easier because I think the people's game is it's the biggest game on the head. It's just like it's a big thing. So when once you have your relation with people sorted, you know how to manage yourself. You have your own tastes and opinions, which takes a time to like a significant amount of time to build. Or why it's like 18, 19, 20, 21 up till 25. Some people might take up to 30, some could take 50 years of age to just understand
mm-hmm,
what they are. So let's say you today, you have a taste, you value
mm-hmm,
certain people. So, like, how
mm-hmm,
does it go for you, right? My take is just ki, once you have your people's thing figured out mentally, thoda sa, and you know
mm-hmm,
yourself, then you just
mm-hmm.
go, you can flow with other things. The other way
I,
doing it,
mm-hmm.
right? The other way around is like thoda sa difficult. What do you think?
I feel the same because a lot of your relationships do define you. Can be professional relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, acquaintanceships. I don't know. बहुत सारे ships हैं आजकल. But like, yeah, they define you to a large extent. How you come, how you show up in them, that also defines you to a large extent. So I agree. Sorting out your people skills, or relationships does play a major role. And personally, my relationships with my friendships, old friendships, new friendships, people I talk to, they play a significant role in my life. So I would be dumb to, not recognize their impact on my day to day, for sure. So I agree. Uh, but I think a lot of people have this confused. Like, the the culture today, the trend today is कि भाई बैठो, you're in this room, you're sitting in your rooms in front of your laptop, not connecting with people randomly, or not just clicking or flowing with people randomly. They're sitting in front of your laptop and doing your own shit, and fair dues to all that. But you'll be 20, 21 one day, and then you'll realize कि you have lost out on a lot of opportunities or people in general, which you might have clicked to अगर 5 मिनट की थोड़ा सा
Hmm.
टाइम सेट असाइड करके बात कर लेते उससे. तो या.
Have you been in a like a period of like let's say 90% isolation or a lot of isolation, which
Mhm.
kind of
I-
do you figure out certain things? ऐसा हुआ है कभी?
it does help with a lot of peace, for sure. और मैं रहा हूँ in this period of isolation. uh, I still call myself a very private person, even though a lot of what I do, or things do come out in the public, or I'm putting it
Mhm.
out on Twitter myself. But I still consider myself a private person, and isolation has helped me figure out a lot of practical aspects of my life. But isolation also drains you. मतलब, ठीक है, it helps you find a lot of peace inside, but it also has effects which a lot of people don't see or are not realizing right now.
Which are?
Do you, which are like, I felt lonely after, like, there's a difference between choosing to be alone and being lonely or feeling lonely. I felt very lonely after, a period of isolation, which was my this grind set wala phase, which was my last year of college, third fourth year of college, which was just heads down locked in into my work, consulting with different projects and whatnot.
Hmm.
And yeah, it did, accelerate my career a lot. It helped me boost through the ranks a lot, but and helped me stack up skills, build technical expertise and whatnot. But and it gave me a lot of clarity when it came to professional and multiple other things. But uske wajah se I lacked on a lot of fronts, which I'm able to tackle now, thankfully. So yeah, it it can be a very good boost for certain things depending on what your reasons for isolation are. But it does give you clarity अगर ढंग से use करा जाए isolation को, use that if it is used as a tool. So yeah, it does give you a lot of clarity on a lot of things, but it leaves you lacking on a lot of other fronts as well. So like एक holistic development नहीं हो पाती
Fair, fair.
इंसान की.
I think it's the same for me.
Mhm,
Isolation, I think isolation is best utilized when, you've had a period of, let's say, 3 or 4 months of good isolation. Then you have
mhm,
the ability and time to think about, like, let's say, lots of things, right? Then you think about
mhm,
yourself, think about people. You get to observe a
mhm,
lot. Let's say, let's say, if it was for me, let's say, an year back, right? When I had only, let's say, 1 or 2 conversations with random people, it could be simple as, as simple as having a conversation with the barista, the guy who makes coffee for
mhm,
me. So only like one conversation in the day, and then I go back and do my work or whatever. ऐसे let's say 3 months के period में I've had little talk with people, right? No, little talk, like small talk, and then it's like, the social game is like, for me it's like, I'm like very social. I was always very social, I was like this, right from my 12th grade, first year, right? I was like outgoing, always like extroverted. That's what people told me. But then I stopped doing that for a bit. So it's like good, it goes up, you become very social, and then you go completely isolated. And you're fixing your mind, you're fixing your business, whatever you're fixing, right? It could be company for somebody who's the bigger game player. हमारे लिए भी like common people, right? तो हमारे लिए
mhm,
it could be something else, for you it's like a different thing. Where it's like
mhm,
you get through a period of isolation, you get to think about a lot of things, and then you become very social again. So it's like social, antisocial, which is very in line with, if you think about this guy, the Palantir founder, I don't know what his
mhm,
name is, and all these Peter Thiel's like people, वो भी वही बोलते हैं,
mhm,
मतलब they're fair saying that your social game in your 20s won't be the best. You won't have
mhm,
the very good social life, but
mhm,
I think it's okay. It's manageable. It just goes like this. And
mhm,
the periods of isolation that you have, for
mhm,
me, they've been like very beneficial, I would say. I've gotten
mhm,
good amount of realizations, about myself, because, like I said, knowing your own tastes, apna khud ka, what you like, what you don't like, is very
mhm,
important. Then you build your own opinions. Like I was saying, a Kanye West fan, था, like, the content you consume, फिर जैसे लोगों
mhm,
से आप मिलते हो, when you meet insecure people, there is an image of that lies on you, so I personally felt like I was hanging out with a lot of insecure people, so I cut them off, right? Thoda sa, you just get to feel a lot of that, and then I went silent for a bit, and now I'm finding the cool people again, So if you read my blog yesterday, right? So usme also I mentioned I also keep writing on Twitter.
mhm,
I've been meeting lots number of people in the last, let's
mhm,
say, 2, 3, 4 months. ऐसा नहीं था पहले. It was like 6 months back. It was like, this is my social game, you know. So
mhm,
no, having zero conversation with people. People are like, this guy is anti-social. But I think you have to be that, It breaks you
mhm.
mentally. It rewires your brain. So
It's like you have to break yourself to rebuild in the first place again, right? So it those periods of isolation are very important if used correctly, if ढंग की direction में people grow. And yeah, you have these, waves of being social and antisocial. Like me personally, uh, I was not a very social guy, but I had friends in school. And after 10th, especially 10th, 11th, 12th, I was very social because I was into extracurriculars, and uske through you are into a lot of hobby clubs and shit in school. So which is where a lot of people get to know you. But after 12th in college, I didn't find like-minded people, at least initially for second year में. So just me and two friends or one friend at max. And उसके अलावा तो उस time पे I didn't, I was very again antisocial, but I was still doing something, figuring something out. I don't know how to, sit still. तो उसके बाद in third fourth year I was but still relatively social in first second year. Third fourth year में I was like completely, cut off from people,
Hmm.
working on my own shit, working on my own skill sets or projects or whatnot. और उसके बाद now I'm again, after college I've become extremely again social. I've been maintaining friendships, putting in efforts in friendships and whatnot, and साथ साथ में building out hobbies again, meeting new people again, and interesting good people again. So online offline both. So I do agree those periods of isolation help if used correctly.
The बढ़िया चीज़
Yeah.
है. I mean, I don't know if, you know, I was watching this reel yesterday. If some artist has
Mhm.
not experienced a period of isolation, then you
Mhm.
don't trust that artist because you don't know if they're broken. Art is like it
Mhm.
consumes you fully, right? So if you're
Mhm.
doing anything that is creative, could be writing, could be code, could be like fine arts, could be content creation. You have to give this to it, right? And if this is not
Mhm.
fixed, it's broken in some way, then वही मतलब कंज्यूम करते करते you just become, you actually when you consume a lot of brain rot हो जाता
Mhm.
है. It just
Mhm.
becomes very difficult to
It's like consume होता है brain. Like if you basically यही है कि if you're not dedicated enough to your art form, can be anything again. We are technologists. उसके बाद we both write, we both speak, and if you are even a musician, right? So अब if you're not dedicated enough to your art, your craft, then you can't trust that person to be an expert at their craft anyway, right? So yeah, it is sort of true what you're saying.
I become a painter as I look. Piano.
Yeah,
I totally right. My first
graffiti artist.
like serotonin,
Uh-huh.
my favorite
Mm-hmm.
neurotransmitter. तो मैं ट्विटर
Mm-hmm.
पे तो मैं इसके बारे में लिखता रहता हूँ. It's like fun. I just took a
Mm-hmm.
spray paint and I was like, मैंने paint कर दिया. Which is
Nice.
fun. I would have not taken such, you know, moves when I was in my first year. ऐसे इतना audacity नहीं होगी मेरे में probably to do such things,
Mm-hmm.
Although this is nothing, right? People do it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's how I learned that, there's one more thing. That is where the Kanye West mentality comes in, where you like just, let people say whatever they want to. Most of it is noise, and you should do what is best for you, and do not
Mm-hmm.
limit yourself because, like I was talking to you yesterday, matlab, you can do everything at this point in life. You're like internet economy, then you have this AI boom, all of that. बहुत तरह के वो bubbles चल रहे हैं. You're potentially equivalent to any guy with $100 million, right? You actually are
Mm-hmm.
richer because you have more time because you're younger. So
Mm-hmm.
if you come from that school of thinking and you know that you believe in science, not
Mm-hmm.
shitty beliefs and all of that, and you have your
Mm-hmm.
own way of thinking, which is very close to the absolute truth. If you think about
Mm-hmm.
it, like if you think about everything in terms of energy and sciences,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
positive energy, negative energy. So, and then you think of everything in terms of, space-time complexities. You think of the world being, an nth order, continuous wave-like system of which are right now we are an image, right? And we're progressing
Mm-hmm.
in time. So if you think about things like this in depth and you understand it's like you're living in a simulation, you get it, right? So that is also one
Mm-hmm.
school of thinking. So all of that makes you believe that, yeah, ठीक है, you've got one life and you should do whatever
Mm-hmm.
the fuck you want to do without,
Mm-hmm.
thinking about all things.
Giving too much thought into it. I like
Most-
like
हाँ हाँ भाई.
like even if you put thought into it, put constructive thought. Don't like like imagine having like what amount of time, let's say, imagine having 60 seconds in a minute, and in those 60 seconds 50 seconds of hitting that publish button on a video, let's say, is taken up by thinking कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे, मेरा दोस्त मुझे मेरे बारे में क्या बोलेगा,
I wrote this
being in
in
fear
school,
of judgment.
5 days back.
Okay, you wrote that.
I wrote
You put
imagine.
that out.
Yeah, I said
Okay.
imagine wasting 60 out of 86 400 seconds in a day,
Mm-hmm.
thinking about what the other people think about you. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. And this came
Okay.
out whenever whenever I write random things, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
really comes out from either conversations with people that I'm having on that particular day,
Mm-hmm.
past experiences, or when I go into
Mm-hmm.
deep thought and I do the thinking, and then I come back to
Mm-hmm.
that page. and then I fix
Mhm.
myself, so every time, abhi kya hua recently, I was talking 2 days back. I was talking to somebody whom I've never had a long conversation with, right, in my college.
Mhm.
So I know those people from like first year, but at a superficial level, right? And then we
Mhm.
were sitting down for coffee and we had this long conversation, so unexpected long conversation for good amount of time. And then I started discussing about, school of thoughts and space time, and then how we are almost irrelevant, and then things about cooking and all of that came in. But the point being ki the world is so probabilistic, it is so randomized, right? That if you give any amount of time thinking about what the third person would think about you when you're talking to two people at once, then you're
Mhm.
going to get fucked. Like, you don't want that noise, right? Then तुम कुछ कर ही
हाँ.
नहीं पाओगे. That's the thing.
B-
And therefore,
because at
hmm,
any given moment, at any given instant in time, if you're thinking कि ठीक है, if I say this, they might interpret it as this, or
right.
they might think of me as this or form a perception of me because of this. And उस time पे there are thousands of possibilities of कि उस चीज को वो उठा के किस डायरेक्शन में लेके जा सकते हैं. And if you think about thousands of possibilities in every instant for everything, for every person that you meet, then your mind is going to be absolutely
Absolutely.
fucked.
Right, the exact thing that you said, overthinking
Mhm.
what other people think about me. I didn't do that
Mhm.
in my childhood. In my childhood, I was like
Mhm.
crazy extroverted. During this period of adolescence, you just become very conscious of what other people think about you. It lasted for like, let's say, 10th, 11th, 12th, thoda sa, even in early like 8th and 9th. But even then, I was like, man, I'm minding my own business. College mate becomes amplified, everything just gets amplified. It's like a small world. And
Mhm.
most people are not ready for life. So this is like
Mhm.
the building phase of your this and the body, right? So it's like certain things could hit you, stay for long. For you might have open loops with some other person, and it's very important to close them. So I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, you have to close them. I cannot stay with that. So
Mhm.
it just translates to your relationships with people, your friends, all of that. So that is what I call a broken man. That's when you learn after a long time amount of time ki you
Mhm.
have to deal with everything. If you don't close chapters, then sooner or later you'll become a very unhealed person, and then you're
Mhm.
going to harm. You'll be unfair to other people.
Unfair to other people. Yeah, it's like कि a lot of times, right? कॉलेज में फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल नो वन नो एटलीस्ट ठीक है आप एंटर कर रहे हो फर्स्ट ईयर में lot of people are getting freedom and exposure for on a lot of surfaces on a lot of levels for the first time. They're going to be exposed to bad shit, they're going to be exposed to good shit too. ठीक है. And they and दिक्कत क्या है, a lot of people don't have value systems, they don't have moral compasses ingrained in them. And we come from households where we are like कि भाई ठीक है, we have ingrained some sort of values and we are operating from that. But a lot of people just operate from what is benefiting them in the moment, या फिर they are just treating this as a transaction or something. And उसके वजह से they might say something which will stick with me for 2 years, for a year, or I might never, और मेरा कोई perception बन जाएगा, या I just have this limitation stuck in my mind and which I'm not able to take out for some reason. And उसके हिसाब से ही मैं operate करता रहूँगा. And उस operate करने के चक्कर में I might actually harm a person who didn't have that thinking at all. So yeah, I agree. You have to, pluck these things out of your head, either by your own, or by closing chapters with other people, if it is possible.
But these kind of conversations, this guy Joe Rogan used to have with Elon Musk, yeah, people like Naval when they were 40, 50
Mm-hmm.
years old. Now we've
Mm-hmm.
kind of, that's what I call shrinking time. कि अपन ऐसी
Mm-hmm.
बातें कर रहे हैं. So like it is not now the new normal. People getting
Mm-hmm.
jobs at 18, 19, 20. It
Mm-hmm.
is still not the norm. It should not be the normal. You get right. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. You're not expected to make a lot of money at, let's say, ages like even 22, 23, 25.
Yeah,
You're not expected to make money.
you're not.
Let's say you're a good engineer, right? So I'm not even an engineer. So my thinking of you would be like, this guy's an outlier, or somebody would be saying that this Chaitanya banda is like an outlier. And now you have so many outliers, and all these outliers have gotten so much attention. So
Mm-hmm.
the baseline looks like कि सबकी body बन गई है, सबके,
हाँ.
हाँ, सबकी body बन गई है. Everybody has fixed their relations. Everybody's very good,
Uh-huh.
Everybody's good looking. Everybody's like very smart, very well spoken. Everybody's very um, good with money. Everything, they fix everything at 21. I'm not talking about people who come on Instagram reels flashing cars. वो तो बिल्कुल ही मतलब they've gone
वो
right.
तो वो तो वो तो वो तो और like outliers की भी outliers.
वो खत्म. तो what I'm saying is if you do not have a generational wealth and you come from,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, normal, you doable, right? So you have to build yourself on your own. Let's say that is the case. In that case, you are not expected to make any amount of money, I would say, by 25.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
It's like you are just expected कि like at least एक generation पहले तक. I talk to my cousins who are 10 12 years older than me. एक generation पहले तक they were expected to just have ठीक है भाई he has a job after college, he or she has a job after college, and ठीक है nothing else was expected of them. It was like ठीक है yeah, they are doing good for themselves, they are surviving ठीक है, and by 25 26 मुंडा मुंडे का ब्याह करा देना है हमने, कुड़ी के लिए मुंडा ढूंढ देना है हमने, एंड क्या कहते हैं, और yeah, he's well settled, he's making good 1.25 lakh rupees per month, but nowadays you have ये baseline actually high नहीं हुई है,
baseline
you know
mental हो गई ना, like just
mentally, because people have just ingrained and are looking up to these baseline क्योंकि a lot of social media and internet also plays into this, because everyone is getting, these outliers are getting attention, right? So everyone looks up to them and thinks कि भाई, oh my god, 22-year-old making $1 million, having a jacked body, having a girl that loves him, everything. Like he also has a Lambo and he has a flat in Dubai. Oh my god! So like he has everything. So yeah, so ये सब कुछ people have started looking up to it, and yeah, it's
I
also
think
resulting in a lot of FOMO.
it's the same for us as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
not people have started looking up to them. अपने mind में
Mm-hmm.
भी say, let's say we don't believe that, but it brings it from hair to hair. Or initially
Yeah.
it was hair. So there is this psychological phenomena where your brain now has accustomed to that level of thinking, where you're like,
Mm-hmm.
no, bro, we should fix everything very fast. 21 is too late, 20 is too late, 20 में बूढ़े हो गए, 21 में लोगों के बाल उड़ रहे हैं, वो सीन.
Mm-hmm.
तो पता नहीं, मतलब some people they just attach their entire personality to the amount of money they make or their job, which is also incorrect, right? It's so bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then I meet every day with people who have their personalities tied to their work.
Income, net worth, job.
उस बंदे की पूरी personality उसका काम है, there are a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
people, and then they will look
Mm-hmm.
down, the snob behavior, they'll look down on you for uh, just trying to live life.
Mm-hmm.
You're expected to enjoy life, you're expected to
Mm-hmm.
focus on art, you are expected to build your own physique.
Mm-hmm.
So I was writing this tweet, ki this guy thin lean man, not from here, right? He's like a very different person, doesn't even,
Mm-hmm.
you probably don't know. So there
Mm-hmm.
was this very thin lean man uh, telling me that not to go to gym, man, because it's very hard to go to gym, too much work, you can't. So I was like, man, if you can't take out 1 hour for a gym in, let's say, three
Mm-hmm.
days a week, then you don't respect yourself enough. So
Actually.
then you're fucked, your entire personality, if it's your job or your money or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That guy has a job, right? So I think he's 23, 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I just find it like stupid, right? So I'm like, this guy's going to have a bad time because he thinks people like him for his work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work like you have to like people um,
Who they are.
for who they are. I like.
And work is not who you are. Work is something you've just acquired in the last 1 or 2 years. So
It is
like,
a learnable skill, right? So
uh,
being famous for learnable skill is good. You're famous, you have an
mm-hmm.
audience. Let's say um, I create a new fictional guy who has worked a fang
Mm-hmm.
job for 10 years, works in HFT,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and then has an audience of 100K.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. But if that guy is not good in real life, you can't trust and value that guy, then nobody cares. And
Absolutely.
people don't actually care because I
Mm-hmm.
have seen people, and these are common stories as well. Um, People like Jeffrey Epstein or people like those, right? The people we were talking about. Those guys were valued in back in 2000s, 1980s for their trust. So if you
Mm-hmm.
have somebody's trust, you're everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even today, I have friends where I can leave X amount of money with them. It could be huge amount of money for me. I'm like, I don't have fucks. You keep it. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know that guy doesn't. Money doesn't come between us.
Mm-hmm.
Same comes with people. You can trust people, and then if there's no trust, then I think it's worthless. Then वही
It's
मैं बोल रहा था
worthless.
कि I have learned to value people, for their trust, the value they bring to the table,
Mm-hmm.
their kindness. This is a
Their
very big
kindness.
factor. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I would say I was selfish at a point. I was very selfish when
Mm-hmm.
I was in like 11, 12, first year. I was like, I have
Mm-hmm.
to fix my mind first. So I was selfish for myself, which is I think,
Mm-hmm.
bad thing. But now people have been telling me, man, Ravish, you're like, we like you for who you are,
Mhm.
because your face or somebody's good face survives like the 10%. It's just like,
Mhm.
the first impression or something like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, if people like you as well,
Mhm.
Chaitanya, if people like you for who you are. For me, it's like, I value this guy Chaitanya because I can bet on this guy. So वो
हाँ,
factor होना चाहिए.
and दिक्कत पता है क्या है? knows everyone has these learnable skills already, या फिर everyone knows what to fit in, how to fit in to social structures already.
Mhm.
तो दिक्कत पता है क्या है? आई हैव दिस थिंग कि यू विल लाइक एवरीवन, थोड़ा सा भी सरफेस लेवल से भी थोड़ा ज़्यादा जान अभी तक जान लोगे, बिकॉज एवरीवन नोज हाउ टू optimize for being liked right now, because everyone seems very polished on the surface, but how they are as a person, वो थोड़ा धीरे धीरे ही समझ आता है. And you can't really get, like, you can't really value or like that person unless you थोड़ा सा surface level से थोड़ा नीचे जाओ, and you can actually build that trust with them, which takes time, which takes consistent efforts with them, or at least
मैंने थोड़ा सा
just time with them.
ये सब भी I've thought about this and I figured out a very
Mm-hmm.
good way to do that, in less
Mm-hmm.
time. That is to have the conversation when थोड़ा सा जब पता लग जाए ना, तो then you go into depth कि how
Uh-huh.
much depth does this person actually have?
Yeah.
Substance, substance कितना है इस बंदे में? Does he look down on people for not being able to, I have people I know, um, who are like probably nothing, same age as
Mm-hmm.
me. I see I am a nobody, right? I say to my face I'm a nobody, right? You're an engineer, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a nobody. So then I'm looking at other people my age. They're like, okay, they have a lot of, pride in I don't know what. Probably they're just starting as junior engineers somewhere. Probably they're
Mm-hmm.
mid-level now. कुछ भी हो सकता है, right? So, irrespective of what work they're doing, right? They have this
Mm-hmm.
habit of looking down on other people. Just, if
Mm-hmm.
they're here, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, it's a learnable skill. So if this is the curve and you are here and somebody's here, so they have this natural
So.
ability to look down on people who are here and push them down
Mm-hmm.
for no reason, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So then when you see such patterns in certain people, you're like, gone, man. I can't trust you with anything.
Mm-hmm.
This just I don't give second chances to people. I'm like I've become very simple in people dealing.
Selective.
बहुत ज़्यादा, I've become like,
Mhm,
first I have very deep conversations with people. They go on
mhm,
for 1.5, 2 hours. Like we had a conversation इतने दिन बाद. It went easily
mhm,
for 2.5 hours. So this guy has depth. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
अब वो the other person, irrespective of gender, is trying to, first they'll be very interested if they have depth. They have a lot to
mhm,
tell. They
mhm,
want a lot from you as well. It's like similar
mhm,
energy level. So I think of, like I said, everything in energy terms, right? So when you're on the
mhm,
same frequency, maybe sometimes exceptions are, but there.
mhm,
So
mhm,
there is a very good chance for you to figure out that, irrespective of where this person is coming from, irrespective of resource level, irrespective of how they're dressing or whatever, they have depth to them. Then
mhm,
most people are artists, uh, उनके पास कुछ craft है. Artist मतलब, that's my way of calling people creative people, but they
mhm,
have depth. So that is what I've
mhm.
seen, and now every day I'm trying to find
It's
more cool
it's
people.
like it's like you have depth खुद से, तो you value depth in other people as well, right? Exactly. So वही है ना, for that for that first of all क्या होएगा? Depth is not learnable. Depth comes with
It's not
time.
learned.
Depth is
It is
something which is
built.
instilled in you बचपन से, and you practice it बार बार to build depth. So, like, this is a very big thing, big character thing, where you said कि एक natural ability है to अब अगर मैं फर्स्ट फ्लोर पे खड़ा हूँ and someone is on the ground floor, or standing in the basement, I have that ability to look down upon them, but it's in my hand to exercise that or not, right? So yeah, it's totally on them to exercise that or not, and if they choose to exercise that, then that just means कि that's not the sort of person I want to deal with.
It's not like, even if that person was 25-year-old, even then they're nothing. When I say nothing,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, man, let's say you make $1 million in a year at age 25, you have three
Mm-hmm.
companies. I would still tell you you're nothing,
Mm-hmm.
because you've not had that impact, So even if you think
Mm-hmm.
about Kanye West का कितना impact है? It could be what, 20, 30, 40, 50 million people?
Mm-hmm.
उससे ज़्यादा होगा, right? थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा होगा.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say 2,
Mm-hmm.
300 million. So that guy has an impact. That guy has depth. That is why I listen to his
Mm-hmm.
music. That guy has
Mm-hmm.
lived certain things. So if you're starting out at, let's say, most people are starting out their lives at 25, which I think is
Mm-hmm.
the right way to say it. They know themselves at 25. Before that, you're nothing. Even after that, you're nothing because
Mm-hmm.
you're like so small in this world,
Spec.
right?
Yeah.
Why so small? So. पता नहीं फिर किस बात की pride arrogance है. I mean, when why would you want to have that?
Mm, I don't know. I had this talk with the founder recently. Uh, he said to my face कि he first of all asked me कि like why do you think you're great? मैंने कहा I don't think I'm great. Why do you feel the need to ask that question? He said I agree. I don't think you're great. मैंने कहा that is what I said, right? But मैंने भी बोला कि like I don't also think you are great, but मैंने बोल दिया उसको playfully. And he was like, I agree. I also don't think I'm great. It's a dog eat dog world, and he went on with his ethos. But हाँ,
Hmm.
यही है. Like if he is not considering himself great, he's a founder of a good company. Who am I to call myself great? And यही है. It's your pride, your arrogance. अगर वो check में नहीं रखनी आती, it's वो learnable नहीं है. That's not learnable. That comes with वो ठोकर खा के समझ आती है या तो, and that's how you build depth. या फिर someone points it out in you या फिर बचपन से ही instill
I know
करके रखा होता
I know 17, 18-year-olds who have like good depth, and
है.
somebody 50-year-olds is living at the surface level. So you cannot
Living at the
bet
surface level.
like that. What's your idea on performatism?
Performative मतलब so people who are performative.
No, what do you think? See, I believe कि हर चीज़ ही performative है, right? लोग तो हर चीज़ को performative बोल देंगे.
Mhm.
What are your
So
thoughts on
what
that?
is performatism? What is performatism?
The thing that you're performing, performative,
Okay,
this term, this Instagram friendly term.
okay, okay. So I mean, वही ना मैंने वही बोला ना, like everything has become like a lot of things that people think they value have become so common on the surface level because they're very easy to emulate on the surface level.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of people can come off as having a lot of depth starting में, but when you scratch the surface थोड़ा सा and actually test for depth उनके अंदर की, that's when true characters or true personas of them are shown. So yeah, everyone, I think everyone is a bit performative because everyone has this innate need coded in them where they are vying for someone's acceptance or likingness in any
हाँ,
manner.
everybody's trying to fit in somewhere, right? Fit in तो
Yeah,
ये
everyone
तो
is trying to fit in some way.
everything is a
Like,
performance. This is a performance. Us sticking to the norm of podcast is
mhm,
also,
it's a
performance.
performance. So
तो maybe
every
I'm like fine with the fact as well कि हर चीज़ ही
Mhm,
performance है. तुम सब चीज़ को performative बोल लो, good.
mhm,
Everybody's a wannabe. Everybody's trying to do
mhm,
things that they want to do.
mhm.
I
Like
wanted to know your opinion on that. मैं वही पूछ रहा था.
it's like कि when it comes into social settings, it's like everyone is अब सब स्टार्टिंग में थोड़ा मास्क पहन के बैठी ही हुई है. Everyone is performing on a subtle level to starting में. No one is going to show you true colors या कैसे वो हैं in everything on day one, right? So I don't have a problem with it because I also do it subconsciously कहीं ना कहीं, and I will be a hypocrite to call it out. But it just gets let's say after I've known you for some time, after I have you know thought that you actually have depth, and after that if that depth is removed and तो मेरा थोड़ा illusion सा टूट जाता है from that person, or so that so it's like that pain of disillusionment actually bogs it down for me, थोड़ा सा step down करा देता है मेरे लिए, because no one is going to be genuine, no one is going to be full जैसे वो हैं in front of you from the moment they meet you or talk to you. So yeah, I'm fine with it unless it's थोड़ा सा balanced. Because क्या है ना कि a lot of people also don't when they step into the world for the first time. I consider college as stepping into the big world for the first time for a lot of people. They also don't have basic social skills, and
Hmm.
अगर वो परफॉर्मेंस करके ही तुम्हें कहीं से देख के परफॉर्मेंस करके ऑब्जर्व करके पिकअप तुम कर रहे हो तो then at least that's good for you.
Hmm.
What do you think about it?
I think I'm fine with all of these terms. I think
Mhm,
they look to me like just coined terms for,
mhm,
everybody's a wannabe. Everybody is a wannabe, everybody has their own
mhm,
styles. You just invent so much of your own thinking. And 20,
mhm,
21, 23, 19 is the age when you start thinking about yourself, at least yourself. So इस
mhm,
age पे I think if you start, fitting into the group culture or, hanging out and representing yourself in groups. फिर वो
Mhm.
you don't I think you don't get the time to develop this ideology or develop yourself. That's why
Mhm.
I never survived in groups. I have
Mhm.
friend groups, but they're like so scattered. And then I've come to the realization that friendship. I'll ask you the same thing. It's when you're in school, you get to meet a lot of people in your class, okay? And then
Mhm.
bonding with other people from other sections would be you doing some extra effort, right? In
Mhm.
college, when you come to college, you have, let's say, a lot of societies, a lot of clubs. You have your classes, so everything is a group performance. If you not fit in
Mhm.
anywhere, you're not fitting in. So you get the chance to hang out in groups without doing anything, without having any value.
Mhm.
When you step out in the real world, when let's say you're 22, 23, 24, I'm not 22, so I don't know, right? So when you become older, my theory is that friendship becomes a one-to-one thing. That is how it
Mhm.
is, right? You are not a part of any institution. Then you have to go approach people, you have to talk to them,
Mhm.
and that is how you discover the I wouldn't say cool, but the real people, the people that you can value.
Mhm.
Then you don't
Mhm.
need groups, because I have seen people making friends in groups. Now what
Mhm.
I do is I'm like, fuck groups. I don't want groups, right? I like this person. I think this person is interesting. I go talk to that person. So it's like this. And
Mhm.
maximum times, the person that I think of also shows a lot of interest back, and that becomes a connection. Because
Mhm.
you get interested in people only when you have like a similar frequency at a certain thing, right? Could be art, could be craft. But फिर when I started doing this, right, so I came to two realizations. One, that like I said, it is a singular activity. You have to become a community.
One-on-one activity. Yeah.
वही तो friendship, I think from now to 50, 60, 80, it's going to live like that. At least for me, it's like it's not like कि groups थे तो उसके उससे you make a friend, you get it. That's
I
not
get
you
it.
understanding the other person. In my case, it's like one to one direct. And most of people, single digit people, but जितने ऐसे लोग हैं, they've met me online, they've met me in real life. The connection is like good bond, and when
Mhm.
we meet for like I said, जैसे हम कल मिले, right? Large number of hours. And
Yeah.
I being bonding with people 50 years old, it blows my mind because we're on a similar energy level, you know.
Mhm.
Molecular, or if you imagine the atom in the energy shell, so it's like same.
Mhm. So it's like I agree क्योंकि I have also experienced this where uh, स्कूल में व्हाट यूज्ड टू हैपन ठीक है स्कूल में भी यार लाइक दिस हमारे लॉन्डो का दोस्त हमारे लॉन्डो का ग्रुप है इन आवर क्लास वी
Hmm.
हैव ठीक है हम इस ग्रुप से ज़्यादातर ओके लेट्स से वी हैव 8 to 10 person ग्रुप वी प्ले फुटबॉल एवरी recess or every sports period we bond over that then it's just random boy shit that we bond over and उसके बाद you're crossing boundaries to go to another group once you become थोड़ा सा more socially confident due to the belongingness वाला factor
Hmm.
you feel from this group and then you're talking to another group in this class you make friends there you make friends here you make friends there right and after that ठीक है for that उसके बाद you are basic a lot of friendships I agree comes from groups but I'm not able to recognize them or relate to them relate to a lot of my old friends on a lot of things like ठीक है we connect over sport like ठीक है फुटबॉल तो के ऊपर connect कर लूंगा मैं with my old friend I'll connect over maybe F1 or something but we have evolved so much after sixth eighth
Hmm.
and we have grown out of that group so much that that group does not feel like home anymore that group or that bond we shared at that time feels not stale but not as intense as today because now I'm meeting with a lot more people or one on one
You lost voice.
so a lot of connections that I'm forming one on one jo ho rahi hain
Hmm.
those are more interesting and those are things I want
You lost voice. Audio. कितने माइक रखे हुए हैं?
वही दो हैं ये डब्बे में आ गया था so yeah what where was I at groups right हाँ
Hmm.
कट ठीक है तो I was at groups. So a lot of friendships or connections that I'm forming one on one, I actually want to put more energy towards it because those I find more interesting at this point in time, right?
Hmm.
Jabki if I talk to a friend back from sixth or eighth, I know that bond exists. I know that person is reliable and there's a time factor, there's a trust factor with that person. But that bond does not feel as fresh or as intense as that time because उस time पे priorities अलग थी. उस time पे we could connect on smaller things and now I know कि I don't know that person that well now. I
Hmm.
knew him and I called him my best friend because he was a part of a larger group that I was at that point in time. And
Hmm.
even in colleges that happens. हमेशा नहीं होता. You join a college group for the first time. You're also actually learning how to deal with conflicts. You're also learning how to deal. You're forming tribes within a larger group.
Hmm.
ग्रुप्स के अंदर देर आर मिनी स्मॉलर ग्रुप्स के अंदर और स्मॉलर ग्रुप्स बने जा रहे हैं एंड
Hmm.
दोज गेट फ्रैक्शनलाइज्ड. अब 15-20 people friends forever group that gets created on day one of college वो fractionalize हो के left as a lot of smaller 2 people 3 people groups by the end of college.
Fractionalized से
So
मुझे fractionalized banking याद आ गई, I was reading Epstein का.
Epstein, everything connects to Epstein, right? So maybe he created other than creating Bitcoin, he also created this fractional social thing structures. But so
You know
yeah,
what?
so
He says that you can borrow 9 if you lend one. That's
sorry.
what he says. If let's say you deposit one to a fractional bank,
Mm-hmm.
so you can borrow 9 in place of one. That is
Oh,
fractional banking. So
okay.
and he's like nobody will understand this concept. This is a concept, right? So but he's like major economists would not understand this concept. So you
Mm-hmm.
said fractionalized, तो मेरे को वहाँ से वो याद आ गया.
Crazy.
Other than that,
Connected
that's
है random.
that's
Everything is getting connected to Epstein today.
good
So
story. It's good to understand
it's
this guy's game.
good
Bad
game
guy,
he's playing.
bad guy, but the learnings are there.
He understood the people's game before we have been talking about it 40
1980s में
years
smart,
after.
that's was big, people smart like you
Hmm.
said.
He's smart according to that standard, but an Epstein can't rise today.
हाँ भाई fair. Everybody's so smart they don't have expertise anymore. Hmm.
Everyone has emotional social awareness. Everyone is apparently so intelligent that
Hmm.
everyone knows how to diagnose a person in 1 minute. So,
Hmm.
आज नहीं उठेगा Epstein in this generation.
Hmm.
He won't survive. But coming back to it, like I do believe कि a lot of connections that I would like to maintain or I like going back to and revisiting, talking again and again to are one-on-one connections. So I agree.
Fair game. बढ़िया है मतलब. I've actually made a lot of new connections. I didn't know मैं ऐसे करूँगा. Last
Mm-hmm.
के 2 महीने से मैं बता रहा हूँ ना. I've
Mm-hmm.
approached so many new people. The 2-year-old back me, like 2021 Raveesh, 2023 Raveesh would not go to so many people, approach them for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
These people are not technical. It's not like they're technically sound or they're very good at math or they're programming nerds or something like that. No. I,
Mm-hmm.
I had that set of friends as well. But now
Mm-hmm.
the people I'm talking about, uh, they may not be very smart, in general. It takes like 2 minutes to figure out this guy if the other person knows their shit. That's
Mm-hmm.
what one thing I look for. I was having a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with one of my close friends, and we arrived to a
Mm-hmm.
common conclusion that Ravish, we resonate, all of us 6, 7, I think including you, we resonate when the other guy knows their shit. It's very important to know who you are and what you want. Wanting
Mm-hmm.
something and knowing what you want is very important. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like I was talking about me approaching new people, not random people,
Mm-hmm.
people who have showed interest, थोड़ा सा.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say उन्हें इंटरेस्ट दिखाया आज से 2 साल पहले,
Mm-hmm.
but they remember, I remember. I don't forget anything, like you know I
Mm-hmm.
generally don't forget anything, so it's like and when it's about people I don't forget anything, so it's like let's say they showed some interest 2 years back and they still show interest. Could be anybody, any number of years older than me, same age as well. So now I approach them when I meet them. Earlier I would have been like, I'm not saying hi because I
Mm-hmm.
was hanging out with insecure people. Like I say, get it?
Mm-hmm.
Insecurity shows up in such things. Somebody could be insecure, or the NPC behavior in towards something else. Let's say somebody's not confident enough to ask out people for coffee, or you know go on a lunch, or just say hi to people. People
Mm-hmm.
don't even do that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was not raised this way. I was like I said, I was like the very hi, hello, good, happy person, right? So when I used to hang out with these people, I used to feel bad about myself. And then I realized that, man, when somebody makes you feel bad about yourself, you're not hanging out with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
When you hang out with how, Joe Rogan says, the really cool people, uh, you don't feel bad about yourself. You get your energy up, they get their energy up, happy, happy. ऐसे क्या होता है कि when I used to hang out with certain people, I was like, man, no, this is draining, and it
Mm-hmm.
makes me question myself. फिर then I
Mm-hmm.
came to the realization, the absolute truth that, man, it is actually how it works. If somebody is making you feel bad, and after the conversation, you, let's say, 1 or 2 hours after that, you think negatively about yourself, you are not in the right circle, man. Just exit. Let's just like quit those people, cut those people very fast. And I've actually
Mm-hmm.
done that. So the longer
Mm-hmm.
you stay with such people, you're
Mm-hmm.
absorbing their energy, like I say.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's an energy exchange, bhai.
very,
If you
very,
are,
there's this reel that I've reposted as well. Joe Rogan guy says certain nice things. So why then they're like, love is the answer. Love is the answer, at any level. Human beings bonding, any gender doesn't
mm-hmm.
matter. It is the answer. Human beings, animals, living objects. So here, matlab, these are like absolute truth things. You cannot bring in religious divide, sentiment divide, or any kind of propaganda in this. And the sooner you realize that is better for you. I
Mm-hmm.
could be late. Some people would be like 18, 17 year olds. मेरे से पहले से समझ गए होंगे. Good for them, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody's in the
Good for
same
them.
journey in their life, right? So you're always at
Mm-hmm.
different points in your life journey, which is
Mm-hmm.
cool if you think about it like that. Space time energy and all that. What do you think?
It's like I agree. It's like people. I think one thing that I have noticed is you always remember. How do you remember people? I have this theory कि you remember people by how you felt around them. Like if I felt bogged down around someone, if I felt like I was drained around someone, I most probably don't have a positive image of them right now in my head. Like if I let's say look back at some chapter and think कि भाई ठीक है, by the end of it I was drained. I didn't feel good at all about myself, or whenever I was in their company I felt मेरी एनर्जी कोई सोख रहा है, या फिर it's just getting the whole vibe, the whole energy that I have is getting brought down. And I'm a relatively chill, thoda laid back, calm type of person. But if someone is making me rile up, or making me pushing my buttons or something like that, I most probably don't have a positive perception of that person. So yeah, can be about can be because of their insecurities, and for in your case maybe it was because you by being drained through around them, you didn't have enough social energy to actually go and meet or
Where
approach
meet
new
cool
people,
people, जैसे Joe
meet
Rogan
the
बोल.
cool people. Yeah.
Why? So it's like, if you would think of it, I would say like, man, life wasted, time wasted. But again, it's a very big learning. Imagine it happening with me when I'm 30 years old.
Yeah.
So that's like a good thing, right? So
Just I have this thing कि even if you think something has bad happened to you, just take your lesson out of it, extract it and learn it and apply
mm,
it आगे life में, and move the hell out of it fast. But a lot of people, what they do is कि इससे negative lessons ले लेते हैं, where they are like अब मैं isolate कर लूँगा, I won't have
mm,
any social connections at all because social connections hurt me. No, social connections don't hurt you. You just haven't met cool enough people. You just haven't met people like you. You just haven't met people who you will actually like to talk with, or hang out with.
what are your thoughts on jealousy? Do you get jealous of?
Jealousy. I used to a bit, थोड़ा सा, जब मैं स्कूल में होता था. Again, around my teenage years, because you are looking, it's not active or retroactive jealousy कि भाई मैं जाके किसी को कुछ point out कर रहा हूँ, या
Mm,
sabotaging something for someone. But I used to get a bit jealous कि भाई ठीक है, he's doing something better than me, या he's performing something, because I was the sort of person, I was that guy who was into every extracurricular. I was in football, I was I was in sports, I was in dance,
mm,
I was in debating, writing, speaking, everything like that. So in these sort of clubs it becomes a toxic culture थोड़ा सा because of some bad apples, and ठीक है, you absorb that as well, and ठीक है, I might have ingrained beliefs
mm.
जिसकी वजह से भी also I might be held back. यहाँ पे I did feel, jealous of someone कि ठीक है, I performed better than him. Why did, he get that recognition at that moment? So yeah,
How
I
how
did
do you
used to get jealous of it.
jealousy now?
Now it doesn't show up a lot.
No, but jealousy is bound to show up. It's a human nature, right? At any level. Let's say if I have 10 companies in SF right now, and somebody has
Mm-hmm.
20. I'm worth $100 million, $200 million, the other guy. He's playing a better game than me, right? So jealousy is
Mm-hmm.
going to creep in, right, at some level. मैं ये पूछ रहा हूँ
It,
कि how to deal with it.
it's like I don't actually remember last time I felt jealous of someone. It's like कि ठीक है, I appreciated that person, and if it and I control myself before it turned into jealousy. Like I hang out with people who are my same age and बहुत easily or they're 10 million liquid net worth and doing good stuff or good for themselves, good for their families, and I'm nowhere close to that. Older Chaitanya थोड़ा सा क्या होता उस टाइम पे he would have thought about कि why is he getting that recognition? He's the same age and I have also done my fair share of hard work. But now I actually look back at it and see कि भाई he was 2 years before me in this game, or 3 years मेरे से पहले आ गया था in this game. So maybe I just need to play the game better, or so I give myself reasons कि भाई ठीक है, to actually show कि ठीक है, he has grinded more than you, yeah, he has landed on the right spot because he networked with the right set of people. So it's maybe something you have to do as well. So optimize for that rather than letting that jealousy creep in from that guy, and maybe actually pick up some learning from it. So
Do
it's
you
like
pick
a very
from
subtle.
Abhi this point,
So
let's
it's like
say there is somebody
mhm,
just a bit better than you. Right? Let's assume there is somebody just little bit better in the game that you're playing. That game, let's say right now, is the work that you're doing. Okay, could be anything. So
mhm,
let's say just thoda sa better.
mhm,
Let's say better looking than you, better articulate. Everything thoda thoda better.
mhm,
And you have to meet that guy every day in your life. So
mhm,
obviously jealousy, right? And I'm asking
mhm.
how would you deal with it?
वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ, तो अगर ऐसा कुछ होगा,
ये तो ऊपर
if
ऊपर
there's a very strong.
get it
हाँ,
right.
हाँ,
ये ऊपर की बातें कि सीख लेंगे उससे
mhm,
मोटिवेशन ले लेंगे. But when it comes
mhm.
to the game, उस मोमेंट पे what you do? That's what I'm asking.
वही तो है ना, बिफोर इट turns into active jealousy for that person. Now I am not meeting someone like this every day,
Hmm.
so I would most probably want to be battle tested to actually see what I want, what I would do in these sort of situations. But um, I'm just giving you examples कि ठीक है, ऐसा might have happened sometime, and in that moment before it became into active jealousy and it crept in, उससे पहले I took it as healthy competition, and let myself believe कि ठीक है, maybe
Hmm.
due to this he's ahead of you, yeah, you might have to optimize for this, you might have to work on that to actually reach that level, or maybe a level above him or something. तो ये चीज़ तो है. It's like before that jealousy वाली feeling, a competitive feeling does for sure come
Hmm.
up in me, but I control that feeling is what I have observed. uh, I am not battle tested in this, where I'm meeting such sort of a person who's just slightly a bit better than me in a lot of things, where I might have to think, or मेरे दिमाग में आया भी हो. So I don't have an answer for you here. How do you deal with it?
हाँ मतलब I have figured out a cheat code to this kind of it might work for you as
Mhm,
well. Um, I believe पहले तो everybody की सब हर बंदे की everybody is living a different life. There are different
mhm,
points in life. तो गेम तो किसी की दो बंदों की सेम हो नहीं सकती, राइट? एंड नाउ लेट्स
mhm,
अज्यूम देयर इज सच अ गुड कोइंसिडेंस मैच दैट दे आर प्लेइंग द सेम गेम in their head, right? So
mhm,
if they're playing the same game and somebody is just little better than you, if I am this person and this is this person, right? I go up to the person and praise him on the face. I praise that
okay,
person on his face.
mhm,
I praise that person in front of other people.
mhm,
You know what that does? That does like really good stuff. First, when you praise this other person who is just little better than you, और वो
mhm,
पता है कैसे लगता है? It's like when you experience jealousy, there is a certain ick in
mhm,
you. It like पहले तो it feels little bad. This is how I used to deal with it like 5 years back. There's a little bit pain,
mhm,
कि उसका कैसे बढ़ गया आगे, how did this guy get more marks than me, or from childhood, or how did this guy win the debating competition when I was doing it, or how did this guy get this particular thing which I could not. So when this happens, and that guy is very close to you in this game, right? When this guy gets that, I go into this guy. Now what I do is I praise that guy.
Okay.
I genuinely praise that guy,
Mm-hmm.
because this guy, I believe, whatever this guy did with his
Mm-hmm.
energy, whatever he did the hard work, okay, he had the luck involvement. What everybody has that. I praise that guy for what he is. If he's actually good, तो पहले तो this guy has my respect, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
earlier I used to be like, man, कि ठीक है कर लिया उसने. You always, as a human being, you always, whenever you have your own victory, you give the credit to yourself कि मैंने किया है, without attributing anything to luck. When the other guy
Mm-hmm.
gets it, you're like very lucky, lucky हो गया. Or, there's this mental human behavior. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, bro, okay, you've done the work. I have respect for you. And now I call him a lion. अब शेर
Mm-hmm.
बोलता हूँ उसको जाके. You get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the face, like, और ये बहुत सारे लोग करते हैं अपन में कि भाई congratulations शेर, शेर है तू,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when you say such things to the other person, uh, you're not putting yourself below that person. What you're doing is, this guy, you don't have any negative for that person. This guy comes to know यार ठीक है यार, this Ravish guy is like encouraging, man. He's not jealous. And now you get to have conversation with this guy. And then you bond on similar interests. इसमें competition अभी भी
Mm-hmm.
नहीं आया, The
Mm-hmm.
competitive part comes like later, or it doesn't even come. You understand this guy's game. You understand this guy's purpose. Then you talk to this guy. Why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
What is your ultimate purpose? And nobody has the same purpose, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's coming from different resource levels. Everybody has different thinking. So when you meet that guy at that level, then you realize that you're not honestly in the same game. And it is good that this guy won because you learned a lot from that. So
Mm-hmm.
cheat code here is, it works for me very well. I praise that guy personally, genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
It kills the
Genuinely, not out of,
no, 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 no.
huh,
Like actual genuine.
genuinely, not out of actually getting something from it, but actually genuinely, so that it kills the emotion inside.
It does wonders for me. It works,
Okay.
So it's like my mood goes good. तो फिर मेरे माइंड में वो पेन नहीं है कि यार उसने वो कर लिया, I could not do that. That feeling goes away. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how I've started dealing with it, and I think it's fruitful because then you have a good relation with that guy, and you never know, this guy becomes very useful to you when 5 years later. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you one thing, like this is a very small example. There's this guy that I know. I've known him for like a lot, like lot of years. अब उस बंदे और मेरे बीच में ना एक, there is a third set of people, and let's say we are two people, always good relation, the third guy always instigates telling this guy that you are better than this guy or you're not better than this guy, so, and these guys never meet.
Mm-hmm.
So when these guys meet, I would first cut the third person off कि भाई तू क्यों अभी competition करा रहा है बीच में.
Mm-hmm.
इतना बड़ा world है, the market is so big in anything. uh, you as a human being are not significant. इतनी बड़ी market में इतनी बड़ी game चल रही है. You're competing with somebody in your own region or your own like local peer
Mm-hmm.
group. Doesn't make sense, right? So collaborate, and this works at all levels. If you're running a
Mm-hmm.
business, you're running, let's say, you're doing a job hunting, you're preparing for something, you're doing preparing for an exam. Think of a standard exam like JEE.
Mm-hmm.
There is a coaching guy. This person is saying yeah, Ravish is better than this guy, this person is better than this guy. Doesn't help because you're playing in
Mm-hmm.
an infinite pool of people. You do not know you're the first rank or the
Mm-hmm.
second rank. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
optimizing for first and second ranks, that's the game, right? So you're collaborating and working together. Or this works for people like Sam Altman, works for people working in Google and all that. It works. So for me, I think praising people works. Cheat
Makes
code.
sense. So it's
Try
like
it.
you've reframed pura ka pura story around the, like, jealousy doesn't have to be a bad thing too. It's like a good driver of, achieving better things too,
Yeah,
I
like
feel.
depends upon how you look
It's
at
like
it.
it's like your perspective on jealousy, or any negative emotion or something which has been labeled negative by culture, can be reframed, and just apna perspective is your choice. You can look at it a different way and reframe it internally to actually use it for a positive thing, or maybe just even kill it, maybe just even kill the negative parts of it. Like, what you're doing is like you're still admitting it, bhai, you're doing wonders in your life, and by praising him, you're genuinely admitting, yeah, you're doing good in your life, and that internal feeling or monologue जो instantly आया होगा, that goes away, and you're actually also, so that just reframes jealousy entirely. for you?
But saying this is a different thing, but when I start practicing
Mhm.
now, मतलब, it works so good. Those guys have become my friends. Friend मतलब
Okay.
actual friends. So that's what I'm saying. Ki, let's say there's a gym bro, and you're going to the
Mhm.
gym. So somebody's just
You
little
like
bit
क्या सॉलिड बॉडी बनाई है तूने?
what? हाँ, क्या
You
solid
like कि
body,
क्या सॉलिड बॉडी?
like and crazy man, like crazy body.
हाँ. Mhm.
First, this guy gets humbled. You get humbled as well. You know,
Mhm.
good bonding. Rather than कि ये कर लो कि उसकी बॉडी बहुत बढ़िया है, बहुत बड़ा डिस्टेंस बन गया हमें.
Mhm.
That feeling can also come into your head when you're starting the gym.
लोग
This guy,
इंटिमिडेट हो जाते हैं when they
वही
are
वही
gym beginners.
that can kill you. And like it has
Mhm.
happened with me when I was like in, let's say, my 11th class. But then I understood कि यार this is like collaboration is actually the game.
Mhm.
Just kill third parties. When you have two people fight, talk to each other. You know,
Talk
when
to
you
each
have
other.
something between friends. I'll tell you one thing. Uh, there's this person I know. Okay. Um, I think I wrote something on Twitter, and there is this third person telling this guy that he's writing something for you. To instigate a
Okay.
war. I was like, first, I did not
Okay.
write this thing and I'm getting to know about this from a fifth person.
Okay.
And it's going around as a rumor and a gossip in a college circle which I'm not aware of.
Mhm.
And it comes through to me from a seventh person,
Mhm.
and then it comes to me from my friend.
Mhm.
And मेरे को पता लगा है भाई लोग तो क्रेजी मतलब rumors करते करते बकचोदी करते करते वो कहाँ ले गए उसको बात को.
Mhm.
And I'm involved in this thing, and
Mhm.
I am being told कि यार Ravish is spreading negativity. Ravish is
Mhm.
causing wars, wars. Ravish is writing direct tweets to what do you call that?
Aimed at people.
Yeah, yeah, aimed at people, personal attacks. I'm
Mhm.
like, bro, I'm not writing it for that guy.
Uh-huh.
And I have a good relation with that guy on the face. I do not know that guy
Uh-huh.
much. I have good relation with one guy. Then I came to know that the other guy is actually like that, man. Fuck this guy. वो बंदा ही ऐसा है
Mhm.
कि making stories. So this other guy that I'm talking about and me.
Mhm.
This guy will soon realize जो third बंदा है, he's not valuable because he's making stories around shit too. I don't know, probably defend himself.
People actually do that. I actually have a recent story about it. So people have this, so like there's these Solana people who have this, like they're youngsters, ठीक है, बच्चे हैं थोड़े छोटे छोटे, ठीक है, and I've helped them at multiple points. So I call them friends. Like I have
Mhm.
these sort of friendships where I don't like I don't have a lot of active friendships going on at one time, but it's like मैं
Mhm.
बहुत low maintenance है मेरी friendships, where I'm like कि एक साल बाद भी बात करेगा तो I'll have that same level, same vibe, same energy with
Yes.
me, right? So I don't have to actively maintain it to keep the bond alive or
Mhm.
something. So ये है, and I'll call them friends and whatever. But क्या हो रहा है कि I get to know कि भाई they are sitting on a server and they're talking shit about people. मैंने कहा and someone, first of all, the third person is coming to me from Twitter to my WhatsApp to tell me कि तेरे बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, और मैं I'm just choosing to ignore it because मेरे को है कि भाई एक साल पहले these people are my friends, I've helped them and what not. फिर उसके बाद एक और बार आके कोई बता रहा है, फिर एक और बार आके कोई बता रहा है, फिर एक और बार, like 4 5 people are telling me the same shit. So like, now I'm actually getting angry कि भाई, like I have helped you, like I have not done anything to warrant this behavior. And when I actually get to talk to them and like when I'm confronting them about it, they're like कि भाई we just make jokes about your English on Twitter. English क्योंकि तेरा English is sycophants and you use fancy terms which we just make fun of, and तेरे को ज्ञानचोद बोलते हैं. मैंने कहा that's fair, call me ज्ञानचोद on my face,
बोलो मतलब वेरी
लेकिन
गुड. इट्स अ गुड
बोलो
थिंग.
गुड फॉर यू. तो दैट्स, बट मेरे को क्या सुनाई दे रहा है कि भाई तेरी बहन माँ की गालियां दे रहे हैं तेरे को. मैंने कहा भाई like why are people spinning stories around it? एंड मेरे को बाद में पता चल रहा है दे मेक फन ऑफ एवरीवन ऑन ट्विटर. मैंने कहा फेयर इनफ, I am also going to be made fun of, and that's okay. That's the risk of being put out on putting
Yes.
my shit out there. So like I don't care about it. But if that is something that's being pointed out to me by five to seven people, and वो भी stories घुमा घुमा के and they're like कि तेरे बारे में active ranting sessions हो रहे हैं, and I get to know कि actually कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. तो it's
Hmm.
like कि भाई that's like चूतिया चीज भाई, like sorry, it's like uh, मेरा क्यों एक दो हफ्ते के लिए दिमाग खराब रहा over this. So
Hmm.
yeah.
But it's all noise. People
Mm-hmm.
will talk about you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
somebody gets to know something about you. They'll box you in
Mm-hmm.
for that particular thing. They'll know you for that thing. फिर वो
Mm-hmm.
rumor just spreads along.
Mm-hmm.
So much in the chain that
Mm-hmm.
it goes from one point to another point, and then
Mm-hmm.
मेरे लिए the astonishing thing was कि I used to think man मेरे को कोई जानता नहीं. Okay, Okay. So first, wrong thinking on my point. Okay. Then
Mhm.
let's assume, because क्यों बात कर रहे हो मेरे बारे में? Okay. Then let's say they have a
Mhm.
reason to talk about. Okay. Now this, what I was talking about was this, like, let's say this third guy talking
Mhm.
about me, talking shit about me to this second guy, whom he has now made close friends with,
Mhm.
just talking about me. How cool is that? You know,
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
they
We
pushed
are
me out.
making friendships out here.
हाँ, तो they pushed me out of the game and made me the bad guy. I'm like, ठीक है भाई,
Mhm.
बना दो, मतलब
Have fun.
मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा ना, मतलब that's the whole point.
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
Earlier I used to involve myself in this game thinking भाई कौन क्या सोच रहे हैं, because you can, you have time, you can think about it, but then
Mhm.
I'm like, oh man,
Okay. It's like अब
very
it's
good
like कि
point.
I'm so withdrawn from it. And I'm
हाँ,
like ठीक है भाई, ठीक है, बोलने दो, कोई बात नहीं, it's okay. I'm putting myself out there. Yeah, yeah, even if I'm not putting myself out there, people are still going to think about me or
वो हाँ,
talk about me
that's
anyway.
gonna
So
happen,
like,
that's
who
a
the
part
fuck
of the
cares?
game, right? Fair.
Who the fuck cares? And like, the ironic thing about it, this is ki I used to think no one knows me. You used to think no one knows you. I have a lot of people who I know who just think ki no one knows them, and I get to know things about them from third people, fourth people, and I'm like, ki, why are you telling me first of all? I am not interested in knowing about someone I know already, at least through you, and and बाद में tell them कि oh you think no one knows you but everyone knows you थोड़ा बहुत या फिर anyone is
Gossip is
going to form
fun,
a
right?
perception about you.
Everybody likes gossip at any level, any
Mhm.
game you're playing, right? But
Mhm.
उसमें attacking और ये सब, when you're trying to make the third person bad guy and you're getting the fun
Mhm.
out of it, I
Mhm.
know people who have legit built relationships by demeaning the third people,
Mhm.
third person, Do you
Mhm.
know how low that sounds? कि
हाँ, and that उसका उस फ्रेंडशिप या उस रिलेशनशिप उस कनेक्शन का
worth क्या है,
बेस
मतलब?
ही कितना फ्रेजाइल है.
So you're like, let's say there are like four people, you're pushing out two and you're not together, okay?
Mhm.
What? कर लो भाई, अच्छी बात है,
कर
but
लो, good for you.
that person is going to have a really bad time some point in their life बाद में, like probably at 25, 30, when they realize,
It's like
हाँ भाई,
let's say if someone is making you out to be the bad guy, or let's say someone is making you out to be the bad guy in their equation. What if they run out of topics and they have no access to Ravish's life all of a sudden after a week? What topics are they going to talk about? Do they even think about that?
nothing. I also thought about that, after a certain point people lose context of your life because you cannot track
Mhm.
so much,
Mhm.
let's say I'm writing some script, okay,
Mhm.
it is not on GitHub, it's on my computer, okay, I keep writing something on my computer for 3 months.
Mhm.
You have context of only what is online, what I show, right, on the internet.
Mhm.
You do not know what's going on in my head on my computer, right? So you've lost context of what Ravish is doing. Very good. That's the best thing situation to be in personally. मेरे को समझ आया. Nobody should know what you're doing at a particular point of time in life. So
Mhm.
most of my life that is public is like even lesser than 1%. Everything that
Yeah.
online is not, and I think that's wise to do that as well. Nobody knows what I'm doing. My parents don't know what I'm doing. My relatives don't know what I'm doing. Um, Very small number of people know what I'm actually doing,
Mhm.
and that is progressing at a constant rate, right? So everybody loses context. Only I know, so I know who
Mhm.
I am. Let's say, for example, you know who you are. So there's no need to give anybody context of what you're doing in your life.
Mhm.
Because what is the point when what are you going to obtain? The purpose is only
क्या
when you
क्या कर लोगे? Like what are you getting out of knowing what is happening in my life?
share. So
Mhm.
the things that I want you to know about me are already on Twitter, right? Because I'm using it
Mhm.
as leverage. Let's say
Mhm.
Chaitanya has a product or a company 3 years from now.
Mhm.
Chaitanya is using Twitter for marketing his product. Best use case.
Mhm. Best use case.
Best use case. Today you are branding yourself as a personal brand. I'm making my own
Mhm.
leverage, an extension like you
Mhm.
call it, right? So
Mhm.
good use case. जिसको समझ आ रही है वो उसको समझ आ रही है. The person who doesn't understand this game, because this also, you're using the leverage game, which I don't think people understand, or they think that
Mhm.
they're going to build leverage at a certain other point in their life, but then they're going to bleed money to build distribution. You get what I'm saying,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I knew from the first day that I'm not going to burn any amount of money in distribution, because if you can talk like this and you can actually share what's in your head, then what is the need? So
Mhm.
I started looking at kids who were actually doing good for themselves, and then I was like, man, time to start recording. Hit
Mhm.
record without caring about perfection, without caring about who thinks what, because honestly, you got just one life, one chance.
Mhm.
There's not motivation, although this sounds like very motivating and all that, but this is how I execute now. somebody messaged me when I made my first video on Twitter, and that was
Mhm,
me talking about billionaires and how we are at a certain same level. एक मेरी बहुत
mhm,
पुरानी वीडियो थी, it just went like immediately, it went like 80K views or something like that on Twitter. So I got multiple DMs from people who would not appreciate me doing things.
mhm,
And they just knew me for the guy, that Ravish can do things. So, I respect people as well. If somebody's doing something in their life, irrespective of art, tech, whatever, content, I know that this guy is doing something. I respect that guy for that. So I
mhm,
had so many people show up and like send me DMs and tell me that Ravish, it's good, man. The thing that you're
mhm.
able to pull off, most people cannot record like we are doing, right? Most
Yeah.
people are still shy of recording videos, whatever A, B, C, Z reason they have. Um, they are right, and I think what is the worst that can happen to a video like this? Somebody makes
Mhm.
pornographic content of it, but there's so many people. So you want to choose us to make that?
Yeah, you want to choose me to make that? Good for me.
There's so
That's
many
fucking
people.
fantastic.
So it's like, क्या हो सकता है? They're going to make morphed images. Send
Mhm.
to whom? Send to whom, man? Like,
Send home, man.
I will make one video on Twitter and say this guy doesn't know me.
Uh-huh.
Elon Musk is not going to get involved. So what's the
Yeah,
big deal? So
yeah.
that's where leverage helps a lot. So if
Mhm.
somebody makes bad claims about you, you can just shun that claim like that,
Shun that
because
claim.
people
Once
know
you
you.
have leverage for that.
Why that leverage is crazy thing, and the leverage, Elon Musk leverages millions. The impact that he has on people. Carnage is
Mhm,
hundreds of millions.
mhm,
So it just operates. It's another game.
mhm. Just
So
another ballpark that we have to reach, or
and
not
it's
reach.
like why. So the first thing is like I look at it. I like you deliver something. You
Mhm,
can deliver some value. You
mhm,
have to constantly deliver
mhm.
art, content, coding. Coding
Code.
is the best
Mhm,
form of leverage. It's also the best form of leverage. It's like X number of users, automation. So
mhm,
you have to deliver your craft. It could be painting. Uh, Constantly keep delivering. You use leverage for distribution and true leverage. And people have that. It changes their lives. Um, People don't understand this game. Probably they will when they turn 30.
mhm.
But if you're scared to record a video, then I mean, you're either dumb in this economy or you're not confident enough. I put it in two ways,
You know,
right? There's nothing in
yeah.
between. It is actually a
There's
fact.
nothing between. Yeah,
The
भाई
worst thing,
क्योंकि
uh,
it's like you just have everyone has a laptop, everyone has a webcam, everyone has an iPhone in their hands right now nowadays, and like it's good enough. You just hit record, you just start, you just upload a dumb shitty 10-second clip कुछ तो करके डाल दो. Like maybe putting a thought out there doesn't take much actually. Like no one is going to judge. If even if yeah, people are going to judge you, people are going to think,
भाई
make
क्या कर
perceptions out of
रहे
you,
हो?
but who cares?
No, judging
That's
is
what
good.
they.
Opinions
Mhm,
हैं अच्छी बात है, right? But what I'm
mhm,
saying is there is I came from two schools of thoughts.
mhm,
Why I never made videos before? I could have done before, or let's say I was sitting at any number of followers, वो भी हो सकता था. Why I chose not to do that? Because one, लोग क्या सोचेंगे? Small part. I was not very um,
mhm,
for that fact कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे. I was never with that.
mhm.
Um, the thing that stopped me was people thinking that this guy is a very वेला person. He has a lot of time. But and the other guy thinking that he has बहुत ज़्यादा time है इस बंदे के पास. But then you think
फिर
about Elon.
वीडियोस रिकॉर्ड कर रहा है.
हाँ बहुत टाइम वेला बंदा बैठा रहता है. Good man.
Mhm,
If you think about me like that, then I think you're very dumb because uh, I have realized that making videos takes 1 hour, 2 hours. You have so much of time
easy.
in your life that you're wasting.
Mhm,
अब दूसरे से गप्पे मारने से अच्छा we make a video content, we put on let's say Twitter or YouTube. Let's say it goes to 100K. Elon Musk watches that. Infinite leverage, you know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Tanmay Bhatt follows me from a reel that I made.
Okay.
So, yeah, so now this guy follows me for something that I made. That was my first video, mein. That guy liked it, okay? So he doesn't
Mhm,
remember, I don't remember.
mhm,
But if that guy is, let's say, sitting at a 6 million leverage,
mhm,
think about what is possible,
mhm,
and we've got so many years to our life.
mhm.
So you can just keep doing all that we want to do. Content
And
is
the
like,
people who are sitting at these 6 million leverages or the 10 million leverages or 100 million leverages, who we don't call Virla now, by the way, also started at this 4,000, 5,000 rupee, 5,000 wali leverage bhi na.
भाई
So it's like yeah,
तो
maybe
एक
इसलिए I wanted to record. videos, and I wanted to write and put that shit out there, because I used to write बचपन से, I was a writer, I was a debater, I was
Yeah,
a
same.
whatever scholar.
Same.
तो मेरे को था कि हमेशा से I want to put my thoughts out there, put my writings out there, but no one would even read it. मेरे को कभी
Mhm.
ये नहीं चीज़ रोक रही थी कि what would someone else think about it, because if that was the thought, वो मेरे को अभी भी रोक सकता था.
Hmm.
What stopped me was the exact same reason कि भाई uh, they would just not consume it because they don't know me enough. And now that I can provide some value at some level, they know me at least itta where they'll at least
Yes, yes.
notice some eyeballs will be on me. Now is the right time to actually
Why, मतलब you
double
have
down and build leverage.
doubt, then you have more leverage. The
Yeah.
people can bet on that this guy has achieved something. Let's say small achievement,
Mm-hmm.
big achievement, big achievement. Built a
Mm-hmm.
company, made money, crazy advantage. So then you just
It's like
full. Uh,
mm-hmm. It's like आप जैसे कुछ अचीव कर लेते हो थोड़ा सा भी, you get some attention, your word gets heavier.
and word is what matters, right? In men,
Yeah,
word is what
words
matters.
words what matter.
If you
Yep.
don't have weight to your word, then what are you?
Yep.
थोड़ा you get right, but
Uh-huh.
it is actually true. मतलब it's not motivational, real content and all that, but
Mm-hmm.
तो मैं ये बोल
It's
रहा
true.
था कि हाँ, what was stopping me was people thinking कि वेला बंदा बहुत टाइम इसके पास. Today I'm like है
Mm-hmm.
मेरे पास time. you know you guys stuck in your corporate. I have time, man. Like you get it
Uh-huh.
right. So you don't have options
Uh-huh.
to choose. So that's the thing, right? First,
Mm-hmm.
I think the best thing
Mm-hmm.
for me to bring myself is in a position where I get to choose. Like I was saying yesterday, जब हमारी बात हो रही थी, right? So somebody not having the position to choose versus somebody having the position to choose, and you
Mm-hmm.
being the person who's created that position or leverage.
Mm-hmm.
So, a third corporate guy commenting that this guy is Vela. Man, if your head is 9 hours into your work and
Mm-hmm.
all you get to do after coming from your work, standard corporate, you know, is like 2, 3 hours for yourself, and you don't have time for content, then
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not, then I think you are lacking, and the guy who has so much time to do everything is, winning so
He's
much.
the one who's winning at something,
He's
at least,
winning
right?
so
Because
much.
he has the time. He's.
Irrespective of age, Naval
Mm-hmm.
right now he's a VC. So I used to think of VCs as very lazy people. कि भाई
Mm-hmm.
बहुत lazy people है पैसे उठा के इधर उधर इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. फिर वो सबसे बढ़िया काम है. 2, 3 hours घंटे काम किया, रिसर्च किया कि कौन कौन सी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करना है. Forget that. What is cool right now? Moldbot and Moldbook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cloudbot and all that is cool right now. It's trending, right? Trends keep coming. What is cool right now is Bitcoin crashes. People
Mm-hmm.
make with their own theories. Epstein को
Mm-hmm.
link कर दिया with Bitcoin. Now, now,
Guy is buying it 2018 में Bitcoin की
oh
books,
yeah,
and people are linking to it.
so that is we can tweet that. But अब मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि
Uh-huh.
let's say cool कुछ चल रहा है,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now Naval is sitting trying Cloudbot, trying Moldbook, buying his own Mac Mini, running software. People like Naval, Balaji, all these people, they have time to experiment with the new cool things happening in the market,
Mm-hmm.
draw good insight from what is happening in the market, write about that, tweet about that, thereby expanding the leverage, investing in more companies that would rise from that. You know how crazy
Mm-hmm.
that is? You have to work only for 2, 3 hours, and you're choosing the research that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like, I think, the best way to live life. But they've built things. They've delivered, right? Constantly delivered
Mm-hmm.
at some point in their life. So somebody working a corporate job at 25, 27, 30, telling me, you
कि तू
know,
वेला है.
हाँ, मैं हूँ
I'll
पीला
take that
भाई.
as a compliment,
I have
actually.
all the time. That's the advantage that I have over you. So
Uh-huh.
because obviously I took some risk, you did not. That is also something. You took some risk. You're working a elite job where you have time to work according to your flexibility. There's also
Mm-hmm.
escaping
That's
the
leverage.
that is leverage. That's like escaping from the matrix,
Uh-huh.
doing a remote job. Cool. So that's what I'm saying is कि people don't understand the game. By the time they
Mm-hmm.
understand the game, they're very old. If they do understand the game, the people who understand the game, they don't make noise. They don't even make this noise, right? They're completely
Uh-huh.
locked in their work. I know people where they're so locked in their work, but then even then they find time to make videos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it is
Mm-hmm.
not a question of how much time you have or kitna Ravish Vela hai. The question is, do you want to do that, or do you
Mm-hmm.
respect people for that or not? Because
Yeah.
content writing, writing is also best leverage. I started writing one blog, just for the curiosity of it. Um, not many views. I did not write it for
Mm-hmm.
views. At this point, what I write is actually what is in my head, like just like you do, right? I journal
Mm-hmm.
my thoughts, I write my thoughts, people interact with it. I have a whole separate video explaining this, which is also not something that a lot of people can do. And people sitting in millions, they respect people like us doing all of this. This is a
Mm-hmm.
fact. This is a
Mm-hmm.
known, this is like a truth, because they don't have time for that. They're so logged in with their companies or whatever. Um, so you have to deliver, then you have to have something substance to yourself. You could be an artist, you
Mm-hmm.
could be something famous for something, and
Mm-hmm.
then compound
Mm-hmm.
leverage. So,
Yep. Yeah. We gave a mathematical formula for people to net life. Do good shit.
um,
Do even better shit. Boom, success.
fair when people can just box you in for anything at any point of time, but you
Mm.
have to keep fighting no matter what. That's what
It's
Kanye
your
West.
choice to fight the box, right? And that's what Kanye is.
That's what Kanye West says.
Yes,
So,
sir. It's fine.